Show&Tell. Amazing. I wish I would be today like on other stages talking about how many great things we already have done and how we did it so you could learn it as well. But today is a bit different for me because I'm talking more about the vision, more about the dream, what could be done, where we are heading as well currently. And I'm glad to see a lot of Business Academy students from Ventspils, which is also one of the reasons I am here today because of voting. And other reason because what we do in university currently. And it kind of goes together with this concept that I want to share today and see if it sticks. And then I will have an ask at the end. Basically, have some stories, have some insight on the current ecosystem, and then I'm going to have an ask to you guys. So, do you know your own dreams? It's like your own visions, where you're heading it? Because you're in TechChill, you probably have something regarding businesses. Something must be there in your heads, otherwise you wouldn't be here. And this is me 20 years ago. I think really one good thing the stepdad had, he had passion for mopeds. I didn't. I was afraid of them. But that's not the main reason I'm up there. It is, when I was 14, I had a pen pal with USA. He was elder guy. There was usually in Latvia there was these packages, and the humbling families could get some of those packages, and there was a pen pal with USA, and I remember him writing. Kind of, I can still remember it in my nervous system that I believe I will never even own a computer, and that was at 14. And around the same time, I was at the position that I had this idea. I want to be rich. Whatever 14-year-old think of rich. But I had this feeling, basically, mostly it was feeling about I don't want what my family has. I want something else. I want difference. Because it was just kind of struggling, the idea of it. And over time, this is me now. Kind of, maybe because of the mopeds, kind of slowly went into it, motorcycling. And in those 20 years in between, there's been dozens of ideas, small ideas that I have tested and tried. I never kind of knew I have this innovation in me. And then there's been travel agency with failure to choose correct partners. Then there's been like a cafe and event agency, or we had it like self-development center. And then COVID helped to stop that one, which gave me a little PTSD, took a recovery time on it. Now I'm mostly like would call lifestyle entrepreneur, and I have video agency, and I'm working in that field. And that brings me down to this point, which for the last few years, when someone asks me what I do, I typically answer, I have psychology in my heart and video cameras in my hands. And that's where kind of coming together, which I realized in entrepreneurship, you need to capture and video things so you can show and tell to someone else. And psychology has been one of the cornerstones, the biggest impact on myself, which when I only started to learn and read and search for answers for my change, it helped me change my world, basically inside and outside. And later, I can see that helps actually the students and others as well when we kind of come together and we start to think. And that's my current dream. It's on a change how to do it. And I have come to this the startup education ecosystem 2.0. What we're kind of doing is trying to connect everyone who wants to be kind of connect in this mindset. But then there's this one thing missing, because I'm just talking about two generations, basically. The youngsters, when 14, when the first dreams come in head, at least that was for me, and then me as my age, and then we're missing these ones. And it's kind of AI-generated me in the future. Another 20 years, I just gave him, like, can you do me in 20 years? And almost. I guess I'm going to be Silver Fox or Silver Wolf, as it's called, later as well. And this is one of the missing links. What I have seen a lot is mentorship from those who are 20, 30, even 40 years ahead. And that has been missing for me a lot, and I found a lot of them in books, in courses, in scientific papers, in psychology studies. I'm just kind of trying to find all of the previous experience, and that's also one of the reasons I'm also scouting for mentors, and also the students that are today, they also are scouting for mentors, so we could see ahead at least 10 to 20 years in future from what I have an idea now. And there are people who can save us 10, maybe even those 20 years on struggling. And this is the kind of trajectory, how I'm seeing these three generations connected together. It is these, I work a lot with younger students, in schools, they have these, in school, these learning companies. I work with them, I help them with the pitches, I'm observing the pitches and how they're doing in Latvia, in Junior Achievement Latvia. And then I'm putting myself in this merchant position, because I'm also in this position where I'm with you today. I'm kind of conveying the ideas. I'm selling, I'm the tradesmanship, the Silk Road. I'm kind of being there, trying to sell you the idea that maybe we can create something bigger together in this case. And then there's these wise men who sit in the library or show up in TechChill events like this, and then they share their wisdom. But this is the hot spot. Year or 2 years ago, I talked with one friend who's he has a marketing agency, and I told him about what I'm doing now in Ventspils University and managing this. I'm a director of bachelor's program, which is called StartUp Management, and I'm being into self-development for 11 years, have consulted businesses and kind of worked with founders. And I asked him, hey, what do you think is the most important kind of piece in time? Where should we focus on? And we realized everything is focused on that circle, but we're missing out this one. We're basically missing out 6 years of someone's life from the point where you had probably your first business ideas. Some had before, but this puberty, that's when we actually do start to think, I want this to be different. What is this life? What's the purpose? What's the meaning? And that typically comes in this age. And to grasp it, from there, what I'm seeing, I have to, from the university perspective, reach back to the 7th grade and already educate and try to engage already the younger people into this startup mindset. Because when we come to this university time, it takes, I would say, almost 2 years to break open the minds for those who typically come from high school or come before. For the first year, it is really hard, because when I started mentoring my first course, it was November. When they started in September, in November, they had an identity crisis, and it took another year to kind of create this new identity, and now they're by the ending 2 year, and I could say, it's good, it's good. But overall, what I'm seeing, it takes 2 years, which we shouldn't invest in changing the identity. That could be done before. We could already, from the 7th grade, help our youngsters help already to identify more with, I can be proactive, I can think of my ideas, I can go for finance, I can search for mentors. I couldn't do that already before. And when they come to this university setup, which one we have is, they already prepared. We don't have to break them open again. It's kind of, we already can start to work, because that comes to the second idea, which is business incubators, because we're making the program as a business incubator. So basically, you're not studying, you're already doing it. And even this semester, I'm happy for myself, I'm happy in seeing the progress, because from my course, which I'm mentoring, we already have first sales and first approaches, cold calls, and all of that is happening. And you do that in university, which is not typical, which is the only reason probably why I'm there, because we can do it how it's supposed to be done, not how universities typically expect someone to do stuff. And then we come to this position, which is business accelerators. The problem with all of this is universities, I have been on some boards, and they complain, we need more scientists, we need more doctorates, we don't have them enough. But they don't care. They don't take care about the bachelors, and they don't care about the ones before. They can't expect someone is going to become a doctorate at one point. Business incubators complain we don't have entrepreneurial material. There's no new innovations. There's no new entrepreneurs. Accelerators complain there's no scalable businesses. Kind of we have not nowhere where to put our money in it, and it's kind of weird that all of them expect it to happen in this age spectrum. There, like you don't have to invest anything before, but you expect that everything will be at that point, and that's why I call this a decade. Basically, when we start at around this 14 years or 7th grade, and if we do invest in this education mindset, it takes another 10 years, and we are at the age 24, which psychologically and neurologically is considered to be a fully developed brain. So basically, if we invest in these 10 years, we might come to this realization that the best talents are already doing everything, and we could just give over our resources and our kind of responsibilities to the next generation, and they can already kind of do maybe better than even I do or someone else before me does, whatever we do actually, right? And this vision is, we came up with this actually doing visualization and thinking about how do we want to see ourselves in the future, in let's say 10 or these 20 years ahead. And we came up to this, maybe inspired from Apple, maybe from just our subconscious, that everything kind of put down in one building. I'm not yet sure how it is online or is it offline, basically, but the idea of getting everyone from the point that I would like to become an entrepreneur and learn everything and do everything to the point that, hey, this person with this team, with this business is something that we would like to invest in and accelerate the business. That would be the dream. And where was the wise man before? This leaving 2.0 means leaving something behind me in these 10, 20, 30 years later, something that I'm proud of, and I can basically look back and it's like, this is good. This is good enough. And only then I have this hypothesis, then we can talk about this kind of unicorns coming out of it. Because when everything is prepared, basically when we have harvested this psychological personal development and all of these mindsets and gave all the education, gave all the mentorship, gave all the potential resources, then we are to this point that we might have this kind of people. It's not creating a businesses, but basically creating the people who could dream of these kind of businesses, who could manage them, who could get all the resources necessary together. That's kind of the dream of it. But it's still a vision board. We kind of have it. There's this program in Ventspils where I'm at, then I'm talking with schools, trying to get maybe out of some students from them who might be the highest potential. Then I'm talking with organizations and how to kind of connect them together and have this decade, how to start to educate towards this direction. And my ask also today is regarding this one. It's kind of the thing which is stopping this and as well could accelerate this whole ecosystem building is, one, we have to get over this teacher mindset. There's a lot of dependency on teachers, a lot of dependency on authorities. We kind of still wait when the saviors will come and they will give us everything what we need, and then I'm gonna be ready, and then I will get diploma, and then when diploma, then I'm that. We have this kind of false belief that there's always gonna be one really teacher who will give us everything. And then if we move to this mentorship side, which means we just have a good people around us who are experienced, and they can nudge us in a way, and mostly it is not that much about information, because everyone has it in your fingertips now, in your pockets. You have everything what you ever could possibly need in your lifetime. And mentor, what I see mostly is just give this little push to take more risk, because that's what I see in what we do also in with my students. There's a lot of planning, there's a lot of gathering information, but when I manage them to give this little nudge, this little push, hey, take a risk, take a chance, it's okay if you screw up something, then changes, everything changes, and culture changes as well. And like immediately the closest ones to the one who took the risk changed the closest ones to them, and they also kind of, interesting how you got these results. And that's my reach here as well, is and kind of one warning for you, like from this psychology part. When I was around the same 14, I remember I went to my mother and came to conclusion that I want to have summer job to earn some money for myself. And I kind of went to ask this permission, can I go work to earn some money? And she looked at me, probably she wanted to be kind of making a bit more safe, and she said, you're still too small, because I was around smallerish as I'm today. And basically, you're too small, take a summer like free, maybe go play with your friends another summer, and then maybe next year. That year she died, and she never gave me permission. I found that out 10 years later in therapy. And that is maybe also one of the reasons why you should think about the earlier years. When you think about your dreams, you ask for permissions, and if you don't get it, you only might find 10 years later that actually I didn't do anything because I was still waiting for the permission that someone is not possible to give it to you anymore. So that's kind of food for thought, and maybe a nudge to go into therapy if you don't do it, because you don't know what you find out there. So do you know any mentors who are into this startup education ecosystem, maybe building something like that, who would be useful? I would like to contact them. I need to kind of download their information, their knowledge, so I could implement something better in Latvia. And who knows, maybe that spills over to other countries afterwards. And the hypothesis is we will make something better what we currently have, or at least integrate what we currently have. And maybe in 10 years or 20 years, we will say, this works, this is good. And we have these all generations together. And maybe the young ones, I don't know the statistics, there are successful entrepreneur is around age of 37. If we could get that average age down to 27, I think that could change even more globally the humanity maybe itself. That's one of the expectations. But thank you from me. And if you know any mentor, someone who could help me and basically us build something better, I'm glad to contact them and get their knowledge together so we can evolve basically as a humans in startup ecosystem. Thanks.